We love spending this time with you. Thank you for listening. If you would like to take your listening experience to the next level, did you know there's a way to do that, Jabo?
I do.
Yep, you know how you do it. You go to thetjshow.com, you sign up for the TJ Show newsletter, and you get cool things dropped right into your inbox, like the TJ Show's 10 shares. We pick 10 different things, everyone on the team does it, that we think you're going to love. It's not just about our show. This is about like stuff, music we're listening to, whatever it may be.
Like life stuff.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole lot more in there. Sign up at thetjshow.com. This is the TJ Show. It seems some sparks are flying around this story. There's a headline that claims a woman was seemingly denied a job after showing up to her interview makeup free. The story here says a New York City job seeker who posted about her experience of being denied a position because she didn't wear makeup in her interview. She explains in a recent TikTok post, here's the quote, "The job said that while her background was exactly what they were looking for, her experience lined up with what they needed for the position. She was concerned that in my interview I hadn't put enough effort into my appearance, given the level of the role I was interviewing for." She said she doesn't really wear a lot of makeup. Thousands of women flooded the comments section. They were sharing similar experiences. Another user explained that she was passed over for a promotion because another female employee was, quote, more put together. And she closes this by saying, if a guy doesn't have to wear makeup to get a job, a woman shouldn't either. So obviously a lot of controversy around this. This is her story. You know, we're not talking to the employer. This is what she's claiming. Yes, producer Heather.
Well, I'm just saying, I think I resonate with this woman because I, too, don't wear makeup in my daily life. So if I'm going for a job interview, I mean, I'll, dress appropriately. I'll do my hair, but I'm not going to be wearing makeup.
Do you think that's actually prevented you from getting a job, though?
I mean,
you've been working consistently for a lot of years.
I mean, before I got this job, there was at least a year where I was getting tons of interviews. My resume, I thought, was perfect. And a lot of these jobs I thought I was really good for. And I wasn't getting the job.
Oh, you better say great. You knew you were great for the job. Don't downplay yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, you are great. You're a rock star, Heather.
But I wonder if maybe that was a factor. I think pretty privilege is a thing, and I think it, affects a lot of people, men and women, honestly.
Well, let me share this. So I think the whole world is judgmental, whether you're a guy or a girl. And when I started interviewing for positions, I don't know, over the last 3 or 4 years, I would put on a sheen of makeup over my face. Like, it's called BB cream, and we talked about this. It's just this thing that gives a little life to your face. Because my theory is, well, if I could check off a box with an advantage, why not? And I'm a dude.
Yeah, but should that be a factor in getting a job? If you are perfect for this job and you can do the job,
you're qualified.
Sure. Why would that matter?
No, it shouldn't. But we can't change the way people perceive us. So if I'm going to give myself a little bit of an advantage, I don't care. I'll throw on a dumb sheen of makeup. Now, does it make a huge difference? I mean, look at my head. Have you seen it? No, it's not going to make a huge difference.
I mean,
but if it makes a little bit of a difference, why not? I'll go for it.
But that's really unfortunate because I came across a story of a woman who admits she knows that she got the promotion at her job because she wears heels and a skirt and a full face of makeup, when there was another woman who had been there for years who was way more qualified than her, and she didn't come in with a full face of makeup. And she admits that woman should have gotten a promotion over her, but she got it because of how she looks. And that's a problem.
It totally is. Yeah, and the world is a huge problem. Like, it's a mess, right? And so, for me, and, I don't have pretty privilege, is that what you call it?
Pretty privilege.
I'm just working on everything I can. I try to wear cool clothes. Like, I'm just doing everything I can to try to get the gig.
To be fair, I have benefited from pretty privilege, not from me personally, but I have a best friend who's like hot. I'll just say that. She's very, very attractive. And we were, going to bars in our 20s, guys would always buy her drinks. And since I was tagging along, I also would get some free drinks, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Well, that pretty was cool.
Well, yeah, I guess there's a positive there.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, because that would be really rude if they didn't buy you the drink.
Exactly.
Then your hot friend would say no.
So if you don't have any hot friends, then I suggest you get some hot friends so that you can experience pretty privilege.
I'm telling you, Jabo, every time I see a headline about soccer controversy, it captures my interest.
I'm surprised because you're not really into sports.
No, I'm not. But every time I've gone to a soccer game, I have a great time. Every time it's on by accident at a restaurant, I find myself watching it. I think I might be a soccer fan.
I think you might be, sir.
Yeah. And listen to this. This headline is hilarious. And I had to read it. It says a professional soccer game was suspended in Norway when fans threw fish cakes and other objects onto the field to protest the use of a video assistant referee. And so I guess soccer fans are really upset because much like the NFL, you know how they have everything recorded and the referees will sometimes look at the tape
Oh, yeah.
to see, and it like slows the game down.
It does. It's annoying.
They're apparently very upset about that. They just want people to play. And then, Josh, I know you love soccer. Can you just break this down even deeper and why they're mad?
Well, I completely understand it because soccer is a game where the clock doesn't stop. Okay, so like there's no commercials unless it's halftime. That's one of the beautiful things of the sport. But now the game is stopped because of this VAR every single time there's a goal or an alleged offsides, and it's completely changing the flow of the game.
Oh, so I didn't realize that part of it. And that's also what I love about soccer. No matter what, the clock keeps going.
That's impressive.
And you know how long it's going to be. You know how much time you're going to be investing in the game.
If
so
the
this totally uproots like the foundation of the game.
It's almost a different sport. Almost. It impacts it that much, I think.
Wow. So obviously, fans who love their soccer, they're very upset. Players wound up having to retreat to the locker room. Then they come back out. The game has to get stopped a second time because the fans saved some fish cakes. And they threw more fish cakes on the field, which is hilarious. And then, they added tennis balls. I don't know what that means. I'm sure there's some fun decoding there. Smoke bombs. It starts to get a little...
Yeah, it gets a little dangerous.
I was with them with the fish cakes.
Me too. If I was a
fun.
player, I would have grabbed a fish cake and some ketchup and walked off the field and just had lunch.
Yeah, I wonder if they used any of them. I mean, there's a lot of fish cakes there.
Give me that fillet of fish. Give me that fish.
The game was officially suspended after just over a half an hour of play with the score 0-0. So the game didn't even go on.
Wow.
This is going to be a tough one for them to battle because these fans do not let up.
Yeah, well, these fans shot themselves in the foot because
Why?
the game was suspended. So you go for a game, you pay tickets, you're throwing fish cakes on the field, and then the game gets canceled. You're like, okay, well, that went a little too far, I guess.
But I think the difference with soccer fans is that they are just so committed to a point where
That
you go...
is very true.
They're not going to give up, right? I mean, am I right about that?
You're right. And this battle with VAR has been like for years now, but even more recently because of the last couple tournaments where VAR has even been wrong. So it's like,
How
what's
is that
the
possible?
point? Exactly. How is that possible?
Well, how does that happen?
Well, they're wrong, and then a few days later, the tournament comes out with an apology letter about how it was wrong. Exactly.
Wow.
How is this possible? Why are we doing this?
There was some fans there that had banners that said, "We will never give up. VAR won't go away."
And trust me, I believe them. They take this very seriously, and I understand why. I mean, there's some integrity. I mean, there's a lot of integrity in this game.
That's right. Yeah.
And it means a lot to a lot of people around the world. And I don't know where this is going to go, but the game is set to be rescheduled. Are they going to bring more fish cakes? Are the grocery stores all empty?
They should bring ketchup and fries too.
I know. So get ready for it. This is going to be a battle. But man, I'm rooting for the fans because, you know what's also interesting? Sometimes the game gets called or stopped because of something that's just like a silly thing, like a pinky going over a line or something, right? Isn't it? It starts to get now so detailed. They're seeking this perfection, which there's never perfection.
Never, yeah.
So you are just complicating the sport. This is the TJ Show. J-Bo, I was visiting my mom and I was over my parents' house. I walk in and I see there's a new picture on the wall.
Okay. All right.
It's an autographed picture of a baseball player who played in the 90s on the New York Yankees.
Nice. I thought you were going to say it was a family photo and you weren't included. So I'm glad it wasn't that.
No. And my mom is there all alone. My dad's not at the house. And I said, where'd that come from? And I can just tell she's so irritated that it's up on the wall.
Oh, man.
And so I had to find out a little bit more information. Hey, Mom.
Hi.
Can you explain to me what that autographed picture is in the house?
We were in Home Depot and there was an announcement that the guy was there signing pictures.
Jim Leyritz?
Yeah.
So Jim Leyritz is a player from the New York Yankees from, 20, almost 30 years ago?
Yeah, the 90s.
And, he was in a World Series. My dad is a lifelong Yankees fan. And, I mean, what a treat. You're shopping at Home Depot buying a lock or who knows what he wants. And then he hears an announcement. Jim Leyritz is here.
I bet you he was excited. Yeah.
He ran over.
Why would he be in Home Depot? I have no idea. All these old men were standing on the line like Little League players. That's what they reminded me of.
I mean, she's just laughing at him.
Oh, that's cool, though.
Like little kids waiting for an autograph.
Did you wait online with Dad?
Well, where was I going to go?
She was trapped.
Maybe to like the kitchen supply section,
Yeah.
the lighting fixtures.
No, she was pretty much taken hostage on the line to get an autograph from Jim. What did you say to Jim? Did you get to meet him?
Well, I just said hello, but I couldn't care less. I don't know anything about it anyway. It's weird that it's there. He put it there like he's so proud of it.
I mean, it's just, my mom can be so cutting. Like, it makes my dad happy. Probably makes him think of when he was a kid. He used to tell me stories about how he'd go to the baseball field and hit the ball around with his friends. It's like one of the most important parts of his life. And she's just like, you know how Kenny's girlfriend's cat looks at him?
Yes.
With a snarl?
Just like that.
Did Dad give him his cell phone number?
No. He just took the picture and that was it.
All right, well, sorry that's on your wall.
I know, me too.
Like, poor Jim. And you could tell, like, the autograph, the Sharpie, it's got a smudge. Like, my dad was not the best autograph keeper. You know, it's all messed up, but he's still proud of it. He loves it. Yes, producer Heather.
I am 100% on your mom's side. My husband Lewis has this Fall Out Boy flag, not even signed, that he wants to hang up in our apartment, and I'm like, no, you're not hanging up a flag in my apartment. This isn't a frat house.
But don't you love Fall Out Boy, though?
They're fine, but not enough to hang up a flag.
Oh, and then
I agree with that, man. I agree with your mom. I agree with producer Heather. Like, my husband Archie, he's in the U.S. military, so right now we're living in 2 different states, and he has his own place where he's at. And he has this massive beanbag that he's like, well, when I come home later on this year, I'm bringing it with me. Where's it going, sir? There's no space in this apartment. I had to furnish the new apartment.
yeah,
There's
well,
no space.
it is a mutual space, and we want to decide together what goes
All right,
in the
well,
space.
he can move in with you and bring the beanbag.
yeah,
then.
that's fine.
How long before my girlfriend Allison makes me take down all my Jets memorabilia?
Did you put it up in the new place?
My Chad Pennington bobblehead doll is the centerpiece of our living room.
Oh, she
Oh,
hates
no.
it. I
Yeah.
tell you right now.
Yeah, she is not a fan of that. That's only going to last so long.
Yep.
What's there now?
Yeah, the cat's going to get it. They love
So
bobbleheads.
she says, the cat.
Yeah, that's right. This edition of the TJ Show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You hear it all the time, how bad comparison is for us.
Well, comparison can steal your joy.
Absolutely. And with social media, it seems like it's easier than ever to compare.
Yeah.
Therapy can help us focus on what we want instead of what others have, so we can start living our best lives and stop worrying so much about what everyone else, quote, has, because you never really know what they have.
If you're looking at the food on somebody else's plate, it's going to make the food on your plate pretty cold.
Very simply, therapy can empower us to be the best version of ourselves, and we don't have to go through serious trauma to benefit from therapy. It could be for anyone dealing with any kind of situation, big or small. Sometimes dealing with a seemingly small situation now will prevent a much bigger one later.
Yeah.
So give BetterHelp a try if you've ever considered it. BetterHelp.com/TJ. Fill out the questionnaire there. Get linked up with a licensed therapist. If for some reason it's not a fit, you could switch therapists anytime. No additional fee. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/TJ today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TJ. This edition of the TJ Show is sponsored by BetterHelp. How much joy can we really be feeling if we're constantly comparing ourselves to one another?
Not very much, because you're focusing on what you don't have.
Yeah, and social media makes it so easy for us to do that. And I just want to make a suggestion. It's something that I was against for a lot of years, and I avoided therapy because I thought it sounded lame and didn't understand why anyone would want to do that. Well, my wife thinks differently, and she eventually convinced me to give it a shot, and I did, and I'm so glad I did. I feel like it's a great resource. It's a gift that I get
It
to
is.
talk to someone, unbottle some of this emotion that's going to happen. It's going to be inside of us as humans walking through this earth. Give it a shot. If you've even just had a tiny hint saying, maybe there is something there for me. BetterHelp.com/TJ. You fill out the questionnaire there. You get linked up with a licensed therapist. If for some reason it's not a fit, you can switch therapists anytime, no additional fee. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/TJ today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TJ. This is the TJ Show. I was at the spa yesterday. Dentist. And yes, I consider the dentist like a little
Spa
spa
for your
treatment.
teeth?
Yeah, that the health insurance covers. It's one of the nice things about health insurance. They cover those spa visits to the dentist. They do a great job. It is relaxing. Every once in a while, they get a little aggressive, but it's fine. It's worth it.
I like going to the dentist myself, too.
Yeah, I feel super clean right now. But anyway, I had a brand new hygienist who I'd never met before. I'm at a new dentist's office, and she was wonderful, and we were chatting it up, and she was even so good at chatting. She's been doing it for so long. She knew when to take the tube out to get my response.
There you go.
And then she put it back in for me. and
Professional.
It was top-level dentistry. So I say goodbye, and then I go stop at the grocery store afterwards. And who do I see coming down the aisle? My hygienist.
Oh,
And I go, oh, that's the lady I just met. And I give her a big smile. Totally ignores me. And I think she did it on purpose because it was
Yeah.
too weird for her.
Of course.
Crossed the boundary. Now I'm in her personal grocery
That's
store
right.
space. Well, I wasn't going to leave it right there. I do my shopping. I see her from a distance and I start walking towards her.
Oh my gosh, you don't know when to stop.
I get a second chance and I go, hey, how you doing? She's like, oh, hi. And she seemed a little embarrassed. I think my theory was true. She didn't want to see me in a different setting.
She really did
Of
it.
course not.
And I was like, okay, well, a little
You
immature.
are an on-the-clock patient. That is it.
I know.
Anything off the clock, she doesn't know you.
I liked her so much. We were talking music, and I thought maybe this would be the start of something. I mean, she's much older. I'm not not in that way.
Be friends. I get
Yes,
it. Yeah.
exactly. And I always like having friends in the medical field because you get free answers to your medical questions.
Maybe she knew that. She's like, I don't want him to get my phone number, and then he starts texting me about his teeth. No way.
Yeah, she can sniff me from a million
right.
miles away. She knew exactly what I was doing. Anyway, Jabo, what's happening in your world today?
I went to a memorial luncheon. A friend of mine, a really close friend of mine, she lost her mom about last month. And this luncheon was at this beautiful Italian restaurant, and the food was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was so good. Now, in the restaurant, there are 2 banquet rooms, and they're massive. You would never think that when you walk into the restaurant. So I'm walking into the luncheon, and after I finish eating, I go and get coffee because I need, you got to top it off with some coffee.
Good for you.
And as I'm walking to get coffee, there's another banquet room, and in that banquet room, there's a baby shower. And to me, in that moment, I was like, it's interesting how grief and joy are existing in the same place.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, life is like that. And it reminds me of like Inside Out, the first movie, how they mentioned that wherever there's grief, there was joy. And they touch on it a bit on Inside Out too. But life is very much like that. As I was experiencing her go through her like losing her mom and her grief, and it reminded me of my grief from losing my dad, I was also reminded that there's also beautiful moments in life that's full of joy. So
Yeah.
if you're in that grief or in that joy, it goes together. And it's okay. It's a part of the human experience.
Yeah, it's that "and" word.
Yeah.
It's not all one thing. It's grief and
Joy.
all of this beautiful
Yeah.
fruit that can come out of that darkness,
That's right.
which is so interesting. It's complicated. Did you take any cookies from the baby shower?
Oh no, because there were cookies at the memorial luncheon. So
Okay, you had
that's
enough
that
cookies.
joy right there.
Enough cookies.
Yeah,
Hey, look, even in the
that's right.
Heather, what's happening in your world today?
Well, I'm going to say something just as insightful as J-Bo.
Okay, let's go, Heather.
Do you ever get like a food fixation? Like you find one food and then you just eat it every single
Yes.
day?
Yep.
Well, mine right now is smashed potatoes. So-
Smashed potatoes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things.
Exactly. So you take the little baby potatoes, you boil them, then you smash them, and then you add like whatever seasonings, put them in the oven.
Isn't it just mashed potatoes?
Kind of, but not really. It's more like a roasted potato slash
I'm
a
gonna let
mashed
you have that.
potato. Yeah. But me and my husband have been eating them for the last like week. They're so good.
Yeah, when a mashed potato and a regular potato has a baby, you get smashed potatoes.
Exactly.
And they're wonderful.
Yeah,
and
they're great.
It's like all cracked and beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And I put the secret ingredient in it, obviously.
What,
Good.
sea salt?
No, I don't wash my hands when I make them.
Oh, you put your foot in it too?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
The other day, we were hearing about how camera guy Josh's refrigerator broke. And then I find out that producer Heather has her own refrigerator problem. Can you please explain this to Jabo?
Well, there was something on the front of the fridge that I don't know how it got there, why it's there. It's a picture of some children. I don't know who these children are.
It's only you and your husband, Louis, that live in the house, right?
Correct.
And neither does he know?
Well, I interviewed him about it. I need to get to the bottom of it, obviously. How did the picture get there?
This is good investigative journalism. You see a photo of kids on your refrigerator, you don't recognize them. Ask the only other person in the living space with you.
Yeah.
Hey, Bud.
What?
You call him Butt?
Yeah, that's his nickname that I...
Okay, and he responds to that.
Yeah, he knows. He gets it.
Who are these kids up here on the fridge with this picture of kids? Who are they?
Aren't those your nieces and your nephews?
No.
Okay, so wait a minute. He assumed the kids were your nieces and nephews.
Correct.
You have no idea who these kids are.
No.
How long has this picture been on your refrigerator?
I have no idea. I've never noticed it before.
You must have a lot of stuff on your refrigerator.
There is, yeah, there is.
Those are my nieces and nephews. Who are these kids?
I don't know.
I don't know who they are either. Why are they in the fridge?
Did they come with the fridge?
Out of the two of us, I'm more likely to put a picture of children on the fridge because I have family and friends.
Are you saying he doesn't?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he has family, but...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who those kids are.
So what do we do with them?
Should we just chuck it?
And throw them out.
All right. Look at that cute baby.
Well, that was quick. You both decide you're going to throw it out.
It'd be so funny if maybe some of your friends came over with the photo and just threw it on there to see how long it would take you guys to figure it out.
They would do that, actually.
I know. That's hilarious.
They gotta be family or friends. They gotta, I don't know, whatever. It's going.
Good.
All right. Well, good. Good organization there.
What?
Glad you finally took care of that.
So crazy.
Yes, producer Kenny.
This reminds me of something I did. I was at an ice cream shop that had photos of like random families on the wall. I took one and I had it hanging up on my fridge for years.
Like on purpose?
A random family you don't know?
Yeah, I thought it was funny because people would ask me all the time, who's that on your fridge? And I'd say, I don't know.
Why would you do that?
It made me laugh.
I am very concerned with you. Wait, so you stole a photo from an ice cream shop, which is a very nice thing ice cream shops do, right? They put up, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here's our customers. And everyone's all happy. You stole one of those photos?
Yes.
What do you think? Like, that means, were there kids in it?
Yeah, it was a very happy family. It was nice.
There's an ice cream store somewhere in the world with a gaping hole on its wall that's just plain white paint. That's it.
What kind of thing is that? Like if my kids
Photos missing.
Yeah, my kids had their picture taken once in an ice cream shop. They get excited every time they go back to that photo. It's like, look, it's my picture. It's my
Yeah.
picture. And it's like a thing for our family. Why would you do that? That's so rude.
That thought makes it even funnier to me.
Oh, man.
Kenny, you're like a villain.
This was a long time ago. I'll preface it with that. But I did lose that photo, so I am looking for another random family to display on my fridge.
Okay.
You know, I really want to be close friends with Kenny, but you hear something like that and you're like, well, why would you invite someone like that into your personal
That's
circle?
your friend, bro. That is your boy.
I know he's my friend.
That's
but like,
your boy.
I didn't know that about him.
your
Kenny,
boy.
I mean, don't do that again, okay? Please, leave the ice cream shops alone.
Oh, he's going to do it again.
Yeah, I'm actually going back to that ice cream shop soon, so I'll take a look.
Kenny, I actually have a better idea for you. What you should do is take the picture, Photoshop yourself into the family photo, and then put it back on the wall.
Okay,
So when the family
so
goes
that's
back,
fun.
they're like, who's this guy?
Yeah, it's a lot of effort, but he's got time for this kind of thing.
Of course.
Great idea, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was swinging by the grocery store yesterday. I noticed something in the parking lot. It took me by surprise. You know, they have the normal little cart return area.
Right?
And then right next to it, there was a store that they just seemingly installed in the middle of the parking lot. And it caught my attention. It almost looked like a smoothie shop where they were selling like powders and gluten-free, whatever.
Okay, nice.
But I was like, what a brilliant idea. Have you ever been to the grocery store and ever seen the parking lot full?
No, the only time I've ever seen that is like at a hardware store. There might be like a hot dog spot in the middle
Yes.
of the parking lot.
Yeah, like something small. This
Yeah.
took up multiple spaces across like 2 different lanes. They just installed another store. And I was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Okay.
But people think of everything. What a smart idea.
Very smart.
I didn't support it because I want more parking spaces. But that's
Oh,
fine.
come on,
But
man.
do I really need them? You know, they probably could have put it. What offended me about it was they probably could have put it at the far end of the lot. They put it right in the middle. Those are some pretty high-profile spots that I look for every time I go to the store.
That's true, but who's going to walk to the far end of the lot
Yeah.
to get a smoothie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're messing with me a little bit with my shopping experience, but fine. It's okay. It's clever. I'll give them the clever. And people are finding ways to make money in every way possible.
You'll benefit from it when you're hungry one day.
That's right. Yeah, the grocery store prices are not high enough. Now you've got to buy a $13 smoothie. That's
right.
It's fine. They just keep finding ways to wring us of every penny we have. Hey, Jess, are you there? This is my wife, Jess, by the way.
Yep.
Quick clarification. I sent Jess a video that I found on Instagram, and it was this woman who was folding a shirt in the most impressive way I've ever seen. It's like 3 quick swoops. Don't you love when those videos find you?
Yes.
It's a life hack. It's like, yeah, this is a great life hack. Thank you for... So I save it. And by the way, we should post this on our Instagram. We're going to post it at TJ Podcast. Maybe you know how to fold a shirt already. I'm way too old to not know how to fold a shirt properly, but it is what it is.
I don't feel bad about it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I just pull it out and who cares? I'm going to unravel it anyway. Folding shirts seems like a waste of my time, but I am impressed when people do it.
I've seen 100 of those videos. Nothing has helped my folding ability. I'm
really-
so bad at
it doesn't
folding.
work?
Nothing. I don't know how people do it.
Who's not watching that video like 15 times?
Yeah.
And no wonder why it has millions of hits and people save it. It's amazing.
In my husband's Archie's other life, he used to work at Target, and so he would fold the shirts and everything. And so every once in a while, when I'm packing to go somewhere, I'm like, "Can you fold my shirts for me?" And he'll fold them, and they look amazing.
And he does a good job. Jess, it seemed like you were slightly offended by the video that I sent you.
Well, you asked the question, who's not watching it 15 times? Me. I'm not watching that video 15 times.
No, I wasn't giving you any sort of hints. I know you have a lot of clothes on the floor at the end of the bed, but I wasn't giving you...
No, I thought you were showing me what you're doing for the next couple days.
No. Hey, listen, I do all the laundry in our house, don't I?
No, you don't.
When did you do laundry last?
A full laundry situation means that you separate it and you fold it and you put it back. All you do is wash, dry, and throw onto a couch.
Yeah, well, the couch, it's all the kids' clothes and all of Jess's clothes. I take mine out.
Yeah, and then you siphon out yours and leave the rest in a huge pile. First of all, folding is overrated. I didn't grow up folding anything.
Well, I know, I can tell.
I'm fine.
Jess, I love you very much.
Wait, what did you say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Oh, Jess.
Kenny didn't hear a thing. Neither did J-Bo.
My energies go to other things.
I know,
But
and
I'm so grateful for the folders of the world, and if they want to stop by and fold our stuff, that's great. I'm too busy. I got too many other things to do.
We're on the same page with that one. I think creative work and things that are life-giving are more important than folding shirts, and that's why we have a lot of unfolded articles of clothing in our
You
house.
offended her with that video the way the parking lot offended you with putting up a store.
That's right. Jess, I'll see you later.
Okay.
Glad we clarified that. This is the TJ Show.
Bedside Matters is the podcast for all the latest medical news and answers to your questions. Hosted by respected physician Dr. David Kipper, comedian Anna Vicino, and writer-producer Peter Tilden. Plus, we have special guests like Danny DeVito.
I was marveling. It was such a life-saving moment. You like Houdini.
Steve Martin and Martin Short.
We were working, and Marty had this Christmas opportunity to fly home and see his grandkids and his children, and he gets off the plane and has COVID.
It was a Home Alone sequel except for a 7-year-old with COVID.
Charlie Day.
David, thanks for keeping me alive, and thanks for keeping Danny alive so we could keep the show on the air for as long as possible.
And many more. New episodes of Bedside Matters drop every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
What's good, everybody? It's Gerard Hector, the host and executive producer of the True Hoop Podcast. You guys can catch me and the godfather of basketball player development, Coach David Thorpe, every Monday and Thursday talking all things NBA.
It starts with Shea. Jalen Williamson, terrific. And a great coach. It starts with Shea. He's carrying a team. He's Michael Jordan right now.
Search for the True Hoop Podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe. Catch us every Monday and Thursday. Take care.
This is the TJ Show, our news that sounds different around here. Kenny reads through every story he can find, and then he brings us the most interesting ones. Kenny, what's happening on this planet today?
For school-age kids, we are in the middle of summer break, and according to new research, children will reach peak boredom by August 1st.
Nope, not my house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my wife had a rule when she was a kid. You're not allowed to be bored.
Okay.
And if you're bored, you're going to clean the house. And so let me tell you something. She found a way to not be bored anymore.
Yeah, I bet your kids are never bored.
No. You see how, yeah, you know how messy our house is, James.
That's why I said what I said. Your kids are never bored. No, I'm kidding. You guys live well in that house. A home is meant to be lived in, man.
Notice you didn't say, oh, I'm just kidding. It's really clean. It is messy, but there's no boredom going on. We got a little problem we got to work on.
No.
We're going to work it out.
So they studied 1,000 parents of school-age kids. 55% of them said they felt overwhelmed at the prospect of keeping their little ones entertained for a 6-week summer break.
Yeah. This is a big problem. If you've got boredom in your house, you got to do what my wife did. I'm not telling you how to parent, but there are lots of books that are unread, and books will change their lives, and they can't be bored. How can we be bored in this world? It's not allowed.
Well, 63 admitted to struggling to think of educational yet entertaining activities to do as a family. Books seem like a pretty good solution to that.
Who said you have to be entertained? You want to grow, don't you?
Oh, but as a kid, I wanted to be entertained. But if I can grow and be entertained, that's a bonus.
But if you could go back in time and you know how worthless so much entertainment is, wouldn't you choose to grow?
I would still choose to be entertained and grow.
On, J-Bo.
I would want the combo. That's what I would want.
Hey, listen, the good thing is there's no shortage of entertaining, growth-inspiring content.
What I love now, I feel like they didn't have as many of these when I was growing up, but they have hands-on museums for kids.
Sure.
So you can grow and be entertained at the same time.
Yeah, the library is like it's not even a library anymore.
It's not.
I mean, can you possibly be bored at these
really
libraries
can't.
they're building now? No.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they've got like metal shaping shops.
Yes.
At a library.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yeah, I wonder how accurate this is. Parents said they expect their children to complain at least 5 times a week about being bored while school is out.
Oh, yeah. Talk to my kids. They got to give a seminar on what happens when they say that.
And the other interesting thing about this study, a third of parents polled said they are likely going to increase screen time over the summer to deal with their kids' boredom.
Oh, man.
More screen time in the summer, less during the school term.
Yeah, it's easy as a parent. I know firsthand. You hit the pause button on your kids when you give them the screens. No, not good for them. I'm telling you. We had to take away the iPad. We realized my kids were misusing their iPads. They were leaning on it. Every time it was like, oh, I need to get back to the iPad. No, not happening. Sorry. You're too precious. Your mind matters too much. Not happening.
They also said parents are likely to spend at least $415 per child keeping their kids entertained over the summer break.
Kenny, what else do you have?
We are officially 155 days until Christmas.
Are you keeping track?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
Oh,
TJ.
I am not.
Hey, there are some opportunities to think about Christmas gifts early. It does lighten the load. We remember last year around this time, we did like Christmas in July.
Right.
And we said, all right, start planning now. And we did that to a certain degree. Certainly didn't do enough. I still had a rush at the end of the year, but now's the time to lighten our load. Start doing it now.
It's not just about Christmas gifts either, TJ. It's also about Christmas decorations, and Hallmark has released 250 brand new collectible ornaments, part of its Keepsake Ornament Premier program.
Did you say 250?
Yeah, and that's just this early release. Before Christmas, they expect to release 450 new ornaments for their Keepsake collection.
My wife will go to the store near us, and right after Christmas, they start to discount all those ornaments, and she buys them for the next year.
That's a good idea.
And so
very smart.
We've got about like 5 or 6 waiting for our kids for next year or this year that came from last year.
That's awesome.
But you won't have the latest and greatest stuff. Like, for
It's all
instance,
the same stuff.
No, Hallmark is starting a new first in series 12 Days of Christmas ornament, beginning with an intricate partridge in a pear tree paper craft ornament this year. Next year, it will continue with the 2 turtle doves.
That's all right. You just be 1 year behind,
I'd rather eat food with that money.
Hello?
But that's just
I know
my
that's
opinion.
right.
Kenny, what else do you have?
While other airlines appear to be back to normal following the global IT outage from that whole CrowdStrike Microsoft update that happened last Friday, Delta appears to be struggling bad, so much so that the Department of Transportation has stepped in and commented on it. The airline canceled at least 900 flights yesterday. That accounted for 2/3 of all cancellations worldwide.
Over last week's security thing that happened? Really?
Yeah, according to Delta, the difficulties are stemming from an outage that impact their cruise tracking system. So they're having these flights that are scheduled, but they don't have enough people to work the flights.
This is an extreme version of why I hold my breath every time I update my iPhone. Because look at what a mess from one little update on a computer.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Well, you remember I updated my iPhone, almost 2 months ago?
Right, yeah.
And I'm still dealing with the headaches of organizing things and putting it back to the way it used to be because I don't want to deal with it.
The Department of Transportation is said to have received hundreds of complaints about Delta yesterday.
It's very disturbing to me. I don't understand how something can be so fragile when so much depends on it, but it's the way it is right now.
It's scary.
Hopefully that all gets sorted out. Kenny, what else do you have?
There's a new rule from the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC. I didn't realize this, but if you have someone in your life who is incarcerated, they're in jail or in prison, it can cost over $11 for a 15-minute phone call.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had no idea. So the agency capped the cost of communicating with inmates. The maximum price now will be capped at $1.35.
Oh, that's a big difference.
It is a huge difference.
Yeah, that's nice.
Studies show that regular contact with the outside world improves incarcerated people's health and also reduces the chances that they'll be incarcerated again after being released.
Yeah, these people who are in jail, I mean, they really matter. And if they're given the resources that are available, I mean, it makes a huge difference. I've known people who have been in and out of the system, and their lives look completely different today.
Especially if they want to utilize the resources that are provided to them.
Yeah, just an investment, showing that you love someone who might be behind bars. It just makes a world of difference. So I'm so glad to hear that story.
Yeah, I think it's a good rule.
Kenny, what else do you have?
So there was a conservator at a British museum that saw this work by Norman Cornish, who's a prominent artist. They were doing some cleaning up, and they noticed that the way this picture was framed, they said it was curious. So they turned the frame around and they took out the backboard and discovered that there was an unknown self-portrait of the artist behind this already established work that was on display.
That's kind of
super
fun.
cool. Yeah, it's a fun hiding spot behind a picture. I got to start utilizing that more often. It's a great place to hide, especially behind a bad picture that no one's interested in.
That's true, yeah.
You could stuff some cool things in there.
Apparently, this artist's family and his estate has been keeping track of his work meticulously. Nobody had any idea that this painting existed, and it's a beautiful work of art. So it's going to be on display at the L.S. Lowry Museum through January of 2025. So you can see this picture that nobody's ever seen before.
Excellent. Kenny, what else do you have?
A Florida sheriff's office is warning residents not to take selfies with bears.
Isn't it always fascinating that they have to put those warnings out there? We've gotten to a place with selfies that people don't care. They're like, yeah, bear, all right, that's next level, let's go.
Well, there's a particular bear, and you can see photographs online. It's sitting next to a telephone pole, and it looks sad. And the sheriff's office said members of the public were seen getting dangerously close to this bear to take selfies. They say, please do not approach black bears at any time, especially those that are showing signs of aggression like this big fella. So apparently, the bear looking sad is indeed a sign that it's not well, and you should definitely keep your distance.
Stick with teddy bears.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what I'll
easy
say.
to take selfies with.
Kenny, what else do you have?
The cardboard beds that Olympic athletes will be sleeping on at the 2024 Paris Games are going viral.
Now, when you say cardboard beds, and these are being used for Olympic athletes.
That's right, at Olympic Village, where all the athletes will be staying.
Is it what I'm envisioning, like it's a piece of cardboard, or is it just a cardboard bed with a mattress in it?
It's a cardboard bed frame.
Okay.
And there's an actual mattress on top. Although the mattress doesn't look all that impressive, but the bed frame itself is made of cardboard. The idea is they want to be sustainable. All of the materials are 100% made in France and will be recycled after the games.
Yeah, I think if you've got a good mattress in the cardboard bed, then who cares? You ever get a box that's cardboard? It almost feels like wood. It's so strong. It's probably made out of that.
Well, they say they consist of 3 modules that allow the athletes to choose the mattress's firmness. So I guess how you position these modules will determine whether or not the mattress is firm or softer. And they can also extend based on the person's size. So if you have Olympic basketball players, for instance, they'll need a longer bed than Olympic gymnasts, for instance.
So what's the controversy?
Well, the controversy is that many people were speculating that the Paris Olympic Committee had these beds put in place to limit the activity on the beds strictly to sleeping, if you catch my drift.
Really?
That was the rumor.
That was a rumor.
The Paris Olympic Committee has denied that. You also have athletes testing out the strength. There was an Olympic gymnast from Ireland who was videoing himself doing somersaults on the bed. It did stay upright.
Wow, that's impressive.
He's a relatively small guy. I wonder if that changes for, let's say, an Olympic shot putter.
That's got to be the origin story of where he started in gymnastics.
Yeah, jumping on the bed.
Jumping on mom and dad's bed, right? Kenny, what else do you have?
There's a new study that suggests dogs can sniff out whether a human is stressed or relaxed, and that sensory feedback appears to influence the canine's emotions and choices.
Oh, yeah. I totally believe that. I told you guys I was walking my dog, and another little dog got angry and lunged at her and snapped at her, and thankfully the woman had her on a leash, but this woman seemed so nervous, and it's oh, what a surprise that the dog's acting wild.
Yeah. I thought this was a pretty interesting experiment that they did with these dogs. They essentially had a bunch of dogs, and they introduced them to 2 food bowls. One was in one location, was full of food. The other was in a different location, had no food in it. And then they would surprise the dog with another bowl in the middle of the 2 bowls. So they took that information, then introduced the dog to the sweat of people either feeling stressed or relaxed. And they found that middle bowl where there was a question, the dogs acted differently depending on what sweat they smelled, because they didn't know exactly what they were getting. If they were going towards the bowl that they knew the food was in, they were happy. If they were going towards this middle one, they were apprehensive, especially if they smelled stressed sweat.
Look at that.
Because they don't know what they're getting. So if we're stressed out Our pets are probably like, I don't know how to respond to this because I don't know how you're going to respond to me.
What's this stressed out person going to do next?
Exactly.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah.
They're furry, but they're smart. Kenny, thank you for keeping us somewhat informed.
That's what's happening.
Got a nice message here, J-Bo.
Ooh, I want to hear it.
It says, hey, TJ, hey, J-Bo, my name is Hunter, and I'm from Scio, Oregon. I love you guys. You guys are so awesome. I listen to you on the radio, and you saved my summer. Well, looks like this is a kid. Without you guys, I would literally be sitting here reading books, even though I love books, but I would sit here and do absolutely nothing. But with you guys, I probably had one of the best summers ever. Keep it up. Thank you guys. Wow, that's really nice. Thank you so much, Hunter.
That's awesome, Hunter.
Appreciate the message. And I don't know.
Appreciate you listening, too. Appreciate that.
Yeah, but I don't know if we want to turn you away from reading books.
No, I think there's a balance in life, and he's found it.
No, that's good. I agree. Yeah, man, if you start reading books, I don't know how old you are, but if you start reading books, you do like what your friends aren't doing. What an advantage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just going to be plowing through life.
You will be ahead.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for listening. You know, it's actually exciting for me to hear that kids are turning the radio on again, because I feel like there was this time where like the radio wasn't doing anything that a whole family could enjoy in the car.
Right.
And we love that. We love that we hear, especially during the school year, it was like, oh, mom in the front seat.
Yeah.
And then, hey, so-and-so wants to talk to you in the back seat. And they're like unplugging the iPad. You have no idea how weighty that is to hear that. Thank you for letting us know that you're enjoying the show. I think it probably just like touches my heart because I think about when I was a kid and I was just glued to the radio. I listened to it nonstop. I know you did too, you guys.
I was the same way. I used to drive the evening DJ bonkers. Like, I would call him every night. His name was Kid Cruz, and he entertained me. Like, he would talk to me. He placed me on hold while he went on the radio to do his thing, and because of that, I think is why I ended up where I ended up. Like, he kind of became my friend. Every evening.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. I mean, we all have our like childhood DJs that we listen to, and the people who inspired us to get into the industry. Is Kid Cruz still around?
He's still living, thankfully, but I don't think he's working in radio anymore.
Do you know him personally now?
We follow each other on Instagram now.
Oh, okay, good.
Which is crazy.
Did you ever tell him that story?
Yeah, I did. I did tell him that story.
Oh, that's so cool. We should get him on the radio.
I have a friend of mine who worked with him, and she worked in the industry. That's how I met her later on when I got into radio. And I sent him a video through her, and he sent me one back. And I was
so
like,
cool.
when I got the video back, I was like, oh! I was spazzing. I was so excited.
I know. You know, it's so funny you say that. Like, there's this lineup that was on the New York City radio dial when I was growing up, and I just fell in love with these people who were on the radio. And I remember there was a woman who hosted the midday show. Her name was Julie Slater. And you fast forward a bunch of years, and I'm out to dinner with her one night, and I'm like staring at her. I'm like, that's Julie. Oh my goodness! And I was trying to be cool.
Were you breathing heavy? Oh,
no,
I just breathing heavy.
Couldn't believe I was sitting at the same table.
Cool.
No, I know she's like the coolest DJ ever, and I'm sitting across the table. I'm like, are you kidding? Meanwhile, I had been in the industry for all these years, but I was like, that's Julie. I can't believe it. And I survived the dinner, and that was the end of that. And and then there was another one where I was a little kid, and I was at this beach, and another DJ from that time, his name was Chris Booker.
All right.
And he was like, he was the night guy, and I would listen to him. And here he was now at this appearance. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Chris. I'm a 13-year-old boy. And they gave me a T-shirt at that time for the radio station, and I have that T-shirt still. You saw I just put it up in my office. It's framed because I used to wear it like every day when I was going to school.
Awesome.
And so like to hear that kids are listening to the radio and they're enjoying the show, thank you for that. Hunter, you have no idea. You literally made my day.